And now, and now,
Now
now
or
he says,
now?
now we're here. It's now. Now we're talking. We're doing it live. Hello
F
again.
it.
That's right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I had the volume on my iPad a little loud, forgetting that I had actually used it to watch something the last time I used it.
Damn it, Ben.
Like a silly goose. I went full gander right there. That's what happened. Um, but yeah, welcome to the podcast. This is the SVT podcast. I guess I decided to start talking. I am
You
Vince.
gave me a Mos Def and Talo Kweli Black Star vibes. You said recording live from somewhere.
That was Tyler right there. How you doing, Tyler?
I'm good, man. I'm in good spirits. I've got some breaking news, but we'll get into that as the show progresses here. So
Right on, right on. And Sam, how are you?
I'm fucking depressed.
Looking at the score of that Raiders game, I totally get it. We thought Tyler and me thought we would at least pick your spirits up a little bit. We are both wearing the Diamond Stars jerseys that you got us on your bachelor party. If you're on the YouTube, you can see us both wearing it. This is the last episode where all three of us are going to be on before the big event, because next week Tyler's not on, and then on the 3rd we're taking the 3rd off. So in 2 weeks we're going to take that Monday off because we'll be recovering for Sam's big day. Then after that, to be determined. So. But yeah, so that's
I'm
the
getting
upcoming
married,
schedule.
y'all.
That's right. That's right. Our boy's getting married. He's the last one of the three of us. Congratulations, brother. We are very, very happy for you. So
Thank
and
you.
we're glad to be part of your big day.
Thank you,
Now
guys.
that the lovely sentiments are done, let's make you really wholly depressed and talk about that misery that was the Raiders game, huh?
yeah, you go first, bud.
Yeah, that beatdown that was the 31-0 in Kansas City. Go ahead and just rip the Band-Aid off, man.
Man, all I could do was I honestly I just sat there and watched and kind of giggled at so many things where there was one play, I don't even know what it was. It was so much room to run, and Geno Smith just kind of danced around and then just fell forward for like a 1 yard gain where he literally could have ran for a first down. Um, it's just a comedy of errors, dude. It is seriously some of the worst football. Yesterday was some of the worst football I've seen in like 20 years. This was worse than remember when Art Shell came out of retirement and brought back that dude, the offensive coordinator. I don't even know his name. I just know that he owned and operated a bed and breakfast, and his nickname was Tom Bed and Breakfast Pancakes or something like that. He literally coached the Raiders, got fired, ran a bed and breakfast, came out of retirement 20 years later to be the offensive coordinator of the Raiders, and then they sucked. The Lane Kiffin years, remember how terrible that was? It's this, they didn't get 100 yards, guys, and the whole game they didn't get 100 yards. I think they got 3 first downs, another one by penalty, so technically 4 first downs in the whole game. They ran 30 plays the entire game. In the first 15 scripted plays, Ashton Genty got the ball once. He got 1 touch. That was scripted, guys. Scripted. He got the ball once in the first 15 plays. But here's the thing that's crazy. In his 6 carries, he averaged 4.5 yards per carry. Why not just give him the damn ball 3 times in a row and get just run it? The game is over. Just run it.
That's a great point. You might as well just try and build the kid's confidence. Build
Right.
the rookie's confidence,
There's no Jacoby Myers. You lost Colton Miller. You got nothing. Geno Smith, you got nothing. Just run the ball. At least establish your identity as a running team. We're going to run the same 2-3 plays until they're perfect, until no matter what, nobody could stop it. We're going to master these 3 runs. Why not just do that? It's like I said last week, guys, that to be a really good football team defensively, you need to have studs at each level of the defense. They got one in Max Crosby, level 1. The linebacker core, those are all guys that are like, I will say, respectable role players, but you don't have the quarterback of the defense. You don't have that middle linebacker that is making adjustments. So the second level, they gave up a lot of passing yards. Once they got past the linebackers, you don't have anybody back there. You don't really have the corner that takes a wide receiver completely out of the game. You don't have a safety that, when needed, can creep up into the box and get a sack or clog the lane up for a run. So you don't have those guys on defense. Offensively, you don't have a line. So I think that has contributed to Geno Smith just basically having PTSD of getting hit so much. And now he's hesitant to run. I'm not saying he was like a mobile quarterback, but he has the ability to run and pick up first downs. And that is completely out of his game now. He doesn't even know how to slide, dude. Um, it's just really bad. It's embarrassing. And as a Raider fan, growing up as a Raider fan, it's been 20 something years since we've been a consistent winner. And for these guys, for Vitek and Carroll and even Tom Brady, now that he's part owner, this is year one in rebooting this thing. And it's very easy for me to sit here and say, like, fire Chip Kelly, but at the same time, like, that quick trigger of, like, firing people is what got you in this mess. And you have to look at the silver lining in this is you have to look at, like, what the Lions did. You gotta look at, what other franchises did that have a history of losing. Like, the Lions were terrible. Um, and what Dan Campbell was able to do is you gotta put some your front office and your coaching's gotta get some decent draft classes in there, and you gotta coach them up. There's a lot of young guys on this team that were not drafted by Spytek and Carroll. So the definition of what a Raider, what an ideal Raider, what we look for in a player, it's not going to be the same as Telesco. It's not going to be the same as Ziegler. It's not going to be the same as Mayock. It's not going to be the same as McKinsey. And it's just on. And like, the Raiders didn't have a general manager until Reggie McKenzie. You know what I mean? And like, Al Davis was everything. So like, this team has just been in constant turmoil during the final years of Al Davis. And then you get Reggie McKenzie and you get a little bit going, but then Jack Del Rio kind of, lost the team a little bit. They move on, and McKenzie never really got the opportunity to hire a second coach. It was John Gruden, and then John Gruden, that whole situation, right, wrong, whatever it is, he got taken out by the NFL. They leaked the emails. He's gone. So it's just a constant rebuild. So at the end of the day, I don't want to jump to fire this person or that person, because that's what got the Raiders in this mess. But at the same time, Chip Kelly's the number one highest paid offensive coordinator. And if my dumbass is on the couch saying just run the ball to your only offensive weapon in Ashton Genty, um, like, just run the ball, dude. It doesn't, like, I will gladly take $1 million a year to just, hey, Genty, you're gonna run the ball over and over again. Because you know what? I guarantee we would have had more than 100 yards. Maybe we still lose the game, but we have more than 100 yards and more than 4 first downs. Like, it was an embarrassment. I mean, it is so frustrating, guys. That this,
Fitz,
this is a pro football team. Like,
stop
this
me
is
if
disgusting.
you've heard that before. Fire Chip Kelly. But all jokes aside, I
We're
do have
snake
some.
bit by all of them now.
Yeah, I do have a question for you. You were 7 weeks in. Obviously, the Jets are the worst team in the NFL. There's a couple one-win teams, and you guys are sitting there at 2. Are you guys looking to tank for the top 2 quarterbacks is Dante Moore, and the number 1 which hurts me so much, is Fernando Mendoza, ex-Cal quarterback,
Yeah,
who was
shout out Cal.
so. Are you looking to possibly look down the road of like, hey, you know what? Are we looking to try and see if we can pick up a quarterback in this draft this year? It's not going to be a strong class, but if you can get at least 1 through 3, you have a chance of getting one.
Yeah, I mean, if to me, if you can get any one of those guys, the retreads, we've done this so many times and it's not working. I definitely think Antonio Pierce wanted Jalen Daniels, and I think a lot of people did, and the Raiders called, but the Commanders weren't going to move. They weren't going to move off of that pick. Like, clearly he was the clear statistically, right? Like, we don't know what the Bears are going to be, but he's the best quarterback to come out of that class as of right now. And they had an opportunity. I think, a couple years ago, I think they really wanted Michael Penix Jr. and they didn't get him. Atlanta pulled the old switcheroo on everybody.
I think
But
he might be dodging a little bit of a bullet right now at this time. His decision making is
sure,
getting a little bit worse and worse.
sure. It's just that I don't think you're gonna win with constant retreads at quarterback. And this team needs so much, man. It's not just the quarterback. Like, you obviously need the franchise quarterback to build around. But the offensive line is terrible, and that is direct blame on Chip Kelly and his staff. I mean, Pete Carroll's son is the assistant offensive line coach. I mean, this is on coaching too.
Well, I do
I
think
think
there's some kind of
anybody with
parity, though.
eyeballs who has watched the Raiders the past 2 seasons, everybody in the building, everybody who watches as fans, JPJ is the best center on the team, and they got him at right guard. To me, if you wanted to move him at guard, it would have been better to put him at left guard because you have him next to Colton Miller. That way, you can run left. Like, that's the best side to run left, because now you got 2 of the best offensive linemen that Genty can run behind. And I know Colton Miller is hurt, but I don't know. If it was my decision, Jackson Powers Johnson's playing center. But he's not. I mean, Meredith seems like a really nice dude. Seems like he's really good at his job, but he's undersized. He gets pushed around. It ain't working. So how can Geno Smith is not helping his cause. He's looked terrible. The interceptions and whatnot, the shell shock that he has now. But I don't think any quarterback is going to succeed with this offensive line. And it's just an absolute embarrassment. And where do they go? I think you kind of got to let the season play out, and it's on to whatever rookie or second year players. You got to find the guys that you're going to try to keep and build around, and let the young guys get some burn, because that's the only way it's going to. Next year, if you're going to see some improvement, you're going to have to see if there's anybody on this roster right now that you're going to keep for next season. And anybody who's in a 5th, 6th, 7th year, not named Max Crosby, it's I want to see anybody who's in a 3rd year or less get some burn, because this season's gone. You're not gonna win out. Like, for you to have a shot at anything, you got to win out, and you're not. You're not. You're not.
I think
there's
some parity between the Raiders and the Saints. I mean, obviously the Saints are gonna cap hell. Raiders are not in a cap hell. But what I mean is that, like, both franchises, it's gonna take maybe minimum 4 years to get them there, because you got to imagine what you just said was that you went through, up to 3 different GMs. Their fingerprints are all over the rosters. There's not one GM that has his fingerprint on the rosters. I mean, we've said it before, the Eagles and whatnot our fingerprint is all over that one roster with the one GM, right? So it's hard to tell the Raiders fans, hey man, we're going to be good, when you've got guys that, like, your GM and probably your head coach and your offensive coordinators.
All over. I was thinking about this today too, about the 49ers, is even with the 49ers, like when Kyle Shanahan came in, one of the things that was continuity was the money guy, Prague Marate.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Procmarante.
That consistency in the payroll, in the finances, right? So when John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan came in, that pillar of like knowing where they were financially and where they were going, that was secure. That was a foundational piece. So now players that fit Kyle Shanahan's dream team or whatnot. Go out there and say, hey, we can get Christian McCaffrey for this. Let's go get him. I think clearly Shanahan has the final say, but John Lynch goes out and gets the ingredients, right? He goes out there and does it. But the 49ers had that consistency throughout with the finances. And with the Raiders, you've had like 5 firings of general managers, scouts, coaches. I mean, just complete blowout. Um, so it's going to take time, and it's hard to tell the Raider fans to be patient because it's been 20 something years. Like people were like weren't even born when they're in they're voting, they're
Right.
buying
Yeah.
beer, and they never seen the Raiders really in the playoffs or be serious contenders because the 2 times that they went to the playoffs, Derek Carr broke his foot, so you knew they weren't going to do crap with a rookie quarterback making his debut in a playoff game. So you knew that season was done. And then when they made the playoffs against Cincinnati, they weren't really that good of a team. You were just kind of like, "Oh crap, we stumbled into the playoffs. Hopefully like maybe we can get this win." But it wasn't that Raider team wasn't all that great. That was the
That was
Rich
the Rich
Bisaccia year.
Bisaccia. Yeah.
That team, that Gruden team was actually improving. That team was actually getting better. And what Gruden said and did, he was a ESPN employee at the time, but what he said was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. It was just unfortunate that he was the head coach of the Raiders when it came out. But that team was getting better. I don't know where they would have gone after, if he would have stayed with the team. I think they were like 3-0 or 4-0 or something like that when that
At that
happened.
point, yeah.
So they sneak into the playoffs and obviously whatever happened with Cincinnati in that game, but it's just been constant turmoil. And even this season is not without its blemishes with the Christian Wilkins thing. You thought you had a running mate next to Max Crosby with Christian Wilkins, and that blew up in your face. So I've never seen a franchise, guys, that like had so many blow-ups in their faces like the Raiders. I mean, it's Antonio Brown, Christian Wilkins, it's like Devontae Adams, like star players in coaching, like with Gruden just blowing up in your face. The Henry Ruggs situation. I mean,
Yeah.
it has been turmoil nonstop for 20 years. And I was on Reddit, man, and there's a lot of pain, a lot of sadness in the fandom right now. And I feel for people. I feel for people why they don't want to be a fan. I understand why they don't want to support, why they don't want to go to the games because it's been 20 years. And if you're 21, 22 years old, you've never really seen this team win. So do I think it's going to get better? I mean, I don't know. You're hoping that this season is the low point and then next year you get another good draft class and you build out from there, but it stinks. I mean, it stinks, dude. I don't know what else to say. I'm kind of it's embarrassing. That's all I really can say is that it's embarrassing. Even the fucking Browns had a hell of a day yesterday. So
Yeah.
if we were to play the Patriots right now, we would probably get blown out in that game. So really, it's and you barely beat the Tennessee Titans, like like They just outworst you. Like they
Right,
just
yeah.
hit the bed more. But you know that game was not without its blemishes. So in actuality, if the season started right now, you may not have a win. You might be the Jets. That's how awful this has been. And after all the Pete Carroll compete, 3 blowouts, guys, 3 blowout losses not even halfway through the season. And this is not the bill of goods that we were sold as a fan. This is not what we were told. This is not what we were told during spring, training camp. So it hasn't looked good. It has not looked good. I still think they have an opportunity to improve with the young guys and stack some draft classes, but it's hard, man. It's super hard to deal with it, and that's really all I can say is this. It's depressing. I saw a lot of people saying that like I can't just pick another team, so I'm just not going to watch the NFL anymore. And I can't, dude, I get it. Because it's hard. Like,
Yeah.
if you're a fan, right? It's hard to just be like, I'm done. I'm going to go insert this jersey. It's not the same. It's not the same. So, I don't know, man. I don't have too much silver linings other than hopefully you get a couple more good draft picks, and then maybe it's a little bit different next year. But this season's it's done. You're not going to make the playoffs. You're probably not going to be. You're definitely not going to be a 500 team. And I say this all the time, the worst place you could be is in the middle. So if you do win 4 or 5 games right now, then you're just getting into a worse draft pick. So what do you do? I don't know. It's hard to tell Max Crosby and Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers, like, you know what? The hell with it. We're just going to bench you the rest of the year because we fucking suck and we want the number 1 overall pick. Like, how do you sell that if you're the coach? How do you sell that to those players? Because if I'm Max Crosby or I'm Brock Bowers or even Genty, I'd be like, you know what? Get me the fuck out of here if you're telling me that we're just going to tank, right? Like, how do you sell that? Because Genty came from a winning program at Boise. They didn't win the national title or anything, but they were a winning program. Brock Bowers was at a winning program. These guys came from winning programs, and now and Genty said it yesterday, man. He said it, that this franchise has a history of losing, and I'm not used to it. Like, so your rookie's never seen the Raiders be good.
Ever,
what
actually.
I'm saying? Brock Bowers never seen the Raiders be good. That's what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
And this, you got to get this thing going. And I don't know how you sell it if you're a young guy. How do you just continue to take it and just like money only does so much,
Yeah.
So I don't know, guys. I don't know. It's depressing. I'm not even mad. It's more or less just like same shit, different season.
In the immortal
But
words
anyway,
of the warrior,
talk about the good
Linkin
things.
Park, I've become so numb.
I'm absolutely numb.
Yeah. Okay. That's quite the monologue you put together there, Sam. All that's justified. 10 out of 10, no notes, my brother. I think from there, I don't know what else we can do, but move on to the breaking news that Tyler has from his Eagles. What do you got?
I think I got
there,
the
bud?
same alert on my ESPN app.
Yeah. Go ahead.
2-time Super Bowl champion, had 15 illustrious years with the Philadelphia Eagles and will now be doing his 16th year, is coming out of retirement. Brandon Graham is signing with the Eagles. He's coming out of an Eagles win in Week 7, where we blew the doors off of Carson Wentz, who was seeing PTSD Vietnam flashbacks there. So I don't know how I feel about it. I'm excited to have Brandon Graham's voice back in the locker room. One of our biggest issues that everyone's like, well, why are they so depleted at the line? They had a big line last year. Their O line is not that great this year. And I'll be honest with you, I think we're at the necessity of talent and youth on this age is going to outgrow what we can contractually pay for, right? So will the Eagles make money work? Sure, of course. I have no doubt about that. But the problem is that Jalen Carter is going to demand a lot of money, even though he's not having a terrific season by his standards by any means. He's still going to demand a lot of money. And so we had to let go of a lot of players that I think were key pieces, between the defensive line of Josh Sweat and Ajomo and then going to the O-line. We've let go of a few key pieces as well, too. So 11 sacks through 7 games, that's just not going to work. We have a lot of edge issues. Unfortunately, we had a guy retire. Our Nolan Smith, our young edge rusher out of Georgia, is injured. So there's definitely some key holes that need to be plugged here. I thought that we might still, and we really could. I think that there's still a play for Bradley Chubb with the Miami Dolphins losing again last week. I think there's a lot of calls being made to Miami for their certain players. So I think that is still in play there to get a quality all-pro edge rusher. We have tons of draft capital we can work with. I do think that we might still call the Browns and see about their quarterback situation, but them having that big win might be a little bit more of a tougher sell to try and get a quality player out of what the Browns have. But nonetheless, we should talk about what happened on the field on Sunday. The Eagles get a big win, 28-22, against the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. Carson Wentz was their quarterback. He threw 2 picks in the first half, and it just kind of snowballed after that for him. He did found an excellent way to find Addison. I think Addison had a terrific, if you had him on your fantasy team, he had a terrific week this week. And I think it just boils down to the fact that the Eagles are still short at cornerback position. We're using, a second-year player, Kelly Ringo, and I think Kelly Ringo can be better. I'm not ready to call him a bust just yet, but his decision making and be able to handle in coverage, I don't know if he's a quarterback. I might see if playing him out at like a safety position, something like that. It just seems that whenever he gets into the game, he's picked on every single time, and teams know to just go after him, right? So is there things to fix? Of course. You have Saquon Barkley, which is murdering people's fantasy teams. I mean, he's getting tackled behind the line second to only the Raiders in their running back. So that's kind of something nobody saw, especially with this O-line. Yeah, we're banged up, we're beat up, but to be tackled behind the line so often and the quality and talent of Saquon Barkley, I think that's absurd. I think that's ridiculous. We were able to unlock the long ball this week, so I was happy to see Devontae Smith have a career game. I was happy to see A.J. Brown get 2 touchdowns. So it seems like that part is starting to get figured out. The identity is being molded in front of our eyes here, and I like to see that. I still want to see more play action. One of the things is that we stopped doing, and Sam, stop me if you've heard this with your own team, but we stopped doing shotgun plays and we started switching to underman and under center, and it seemed to have unlocked a lot of things. And the good thing about it is that, Devontae Smith is the same thing, is that we're running play action. Teams have been stacking the box, 8 in the box to stop Saquon Barkley because they know that on the first down, we're going to run. It's pretty consistent. It's like an 85% chance you're going to catch us running the ball, which we still kind of did this week. But being under center and being able to run a play action and being able to throw the ball, well, maybe they'll stop loading the box up now at this point because now they think that you're not going to run it on the first down. So I get that you want to set the tone of being a run team. I just think there needs to be a little bit of dispersion of how you do that. Disguise not being every first down a run play. Make it a simple hitch run or a zag or even a quick curl out. So I think there's some things that could be done offensively going into next week, which, by the way, I will be there next week in Philadelphia. Boots on the ground. I will be there while we play the New York Giants here. So I get to see the CTE boys in person this Sunday. So I'm excited to be a part of that. Shout out to my wife who booked got the tickets, booked the flights, and put this all together here for us for me for this weekend. So a lot of things to be fixed, I think, but we're getting identity. I think we're starting to understand that we don't always have to be this run first team, and maybe that unlocks Saquon Barkley, and we start seeing some things turn around, and maybe Brandon Graham's voice in the locker room starts changing some things too, because God forbid 11 sacks in 7 games for this Eagles talented team is kind of ridiculous in my opinion. So I'm happy with the win this week. I'm happy that we're in first place. I'm glad that the Cowboys got the win because the Commanders were up above the Cowboys, and now that's kind of all split down the middle with 3 wins for everyone, while the Eagles are soaring high over here. So can't be upset with that. I'm loving being in first place and looking forward to this Sunday here.
Right on. Yeah. I'm kind of in the same boat. The Niners get the win 20-10 on Sunday Night Football against the Atlanta Falcons. Unfortunately, the starting center, Jake Brendel, had a hamstring injury in the second quarter because it's the 49ers. And of course, there has to be a injury to a key starter. That's the rule. That's Niners law. There has to be an injury. Ergo, starting center this time. That's kind of what it is. Yeah, I was looking for that as well. There was the hamstring injury as well. Thank you for that, Tyler. That being said, Christian McCaffrey is so back, baby. Uh, Tatum Bethune, the rookie that's stepping into place for Fred Warner, he showed up to the game wearing Fred Warner's rookie jersey, which also happens to be his current jersey number as well. He showed up to the game wearing the Warner 48 instead of the Bethune 48. So that was a wonderful little homage as well. And that kind of sparked something. He ended up having 4 tackles. He was in on 6 others. One of those was a tackle for loss. So he was very, very active in the game. He did briefly step off of the field in the second quarter for a very minor injury. And then during that 19 play drive that Atlanta had, but Atlanta ended up being held to a field goal on that play because he did come back on and they got it sorted out. So, and then after that, they just kind of locked it down. Bijan Robinson was held to under 100 total yards. He did end up getting a touchdown, but Bijan gonna be Bijan. But George Kittle was back. This was his first game back from the injury. He didn't have any fantasy production, but him being back really sparked the run game for the Niners, and you could just tell Christian McCaffrey absolutely went nuclear. Uh, the rushing stats, 129 yards. That's 5.4 carry. He had 2 tutties. And then on the receiving end, he had 72 yards on 7 catches. So that's 10.3 a catch. And on 8 targets as well. Jennings was back a little bit, playing a little bit better this time. He had 4 catches, only 31 yards on those, though. And everybody else had like 1 or 2 catches, not really a lot there, but the run game was doing so much more, so that was fine. Brian Robinson had 9 rushes as well, too, chipping in for 36 yards for a carry. That's fine and dandy. Mac Jones didn't really do a whole lot. I think it was 152 yards passing on 17 completions, so it's like 6 yards completion. So yeah, not a lot there. But Kittle being back really just sparked the run game, and that's kind of what the Niners at their core want to be. They want to be a run team, and him being back really just and when they're at their best, sometimes this happens to Kittle where it's determined that this is going to be a CMC game. And Kittle kind of decides, okay, I'm going to block like a maniac this time. I'm going to do the tight end blocking stuff. And then that kind of will open up in future games for him to have the monster, 30-point fantasy point games that down the road. So I'm not too concerned about the fantasy production on that side of it. I genuinely don't give a damn that he didn't have a catch, because he was blocking like a madman out there, and he came out of that without without re-aggravating that injury. That was the most important part of it. There was a report right before the game, actually, like a couple days before the game, that Fred Warner could theoretically come back this season if the 49ers make it to the Super Bowl. Insert the Hawkeye, don't give me hope gif here. Okay. So that's kind of all I really have to say about that. Yeah, just overall pleased with the win, and let's move it on to basketball, and let's talk about the Warriors, because the Warriors season is about to start, gentlemen. The Warriors
I got that to look forward to.
Yeah, the big roster move that we told you was going to happen finally happened. Seth Curry was released, but he is expected to re-sign in about a month or so. Once his salary cap hit will be lowered enough to be under the second apron, and that's the market manipulation that they kind of have to do, the games that they play to be able to have these veterans play here under the games that they have to play and all that stuff. So I don't love it, but that's just kind of the way it is. That's the shortcuts and the maneuvering that they do, and it is what it is. That's okay. Whatever. So be it. Okay. Cool. Not really any surprise there. We knew it was going to happen, and it finally happened, and we even said it was going to happen, so no surprise there. The regular season tips off tomorrow. So the game
against the Lakers.
Yeah, we are down in LA against the LeBron-less Lakers. LeBron's not going to be playing for a couple more weeks at least. But that game is going to be on NBC. That's right. We're getting Round Ball Rock 7 p.m. Okay, so if you don't see it on our local networks, it's because it's on NBC National has the broadcast. And then Thursday it's on ESPN, and then finally we get Fitz and Buki on against Portland. Okay, so we're gonna be on national TV a lot because the Warriors are still a national draw, whether or not they're officially title contenders. They're kind of on the outskirts of title contenders, I think. At least that's what a lot of people
I think that's fair to say.
I think like if things break right, it could still happen. I think like there's a lot of things have to go right, but it's still like, the chances is not zero.
The Kuminga trade is going to give back to you.
Exactly. The chances are not zero.
So that was not great. That was a fun conversation though I had, was that somebody was telling me like, oh, this is a title contending team. Like, I think this team can contend. And I will give you this. If they are healthy, I think they can compete with any team in the league. The problem is that you're asking dudes plus 30 to be healthy.
You're asking dudes that are pushing 40. Okay.
Yeah. So
guys that are closer to 40 than 30. Yeah.
But I do agree that if healthy, you stack us up against a lot of teams in the league, I think we're going to be competitive and win a fair amount of games. It's just that 37, 38, and 36.
the rule adjustments, especially on threes for Steph Curry, he's going to be able to get to the line a lot more now.
There's no way that's not going to be a controversial call this season. Between him and Harden.
I honestly don't give a shit. It's time that Steph Curry starts getting the superstar foul calls.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that he's probably not going to get the calls. Even though that's a rule, he's probably still not going to get the calls.
I don't disagree.
Don't act like this isn't going to be a controversial thing.
I know. And we're going to be bitching about it here every Monday, except for the third. But you know what? He's going to get more foul calls than he has been, but he's still not going to be getting as many as he should be. I guess that's what I'm saying. Okay. We're going to see an uptick in foul calls for Steph Curry, but he still should be getting more than what he will be getting. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So like I said, we have 3 games coming up this week to start the regular season. We got Lakers, Denver at home for Denver for the season opener, the home opener, excuse me, and then at Portland on Friday. And then just one quick note on the WNBA, the lockout is looming. The contract kind of ends at the end of October. So we could know by Halloween if the lockout actually happens. We'll see. That's still to be determined. Just kind of keeping it on the radar, just kind of, rattling back there. So yeah, we got some basketball to watch starting tomorrow, fellas. So really excited for that. Yeah. Anything else that we want to talk about for basketball, or are we good to move on for the moment?
You know what? I said that Will Richards is a project. I still think he's a project, but damn, he has looked impressive in these preseason games. There's a video that came out with him just setting handing the ball off and setting a quick screen and diving in. And Butler and Kerr were caught on a hot mic talking about how that kid's going to be really good in the league. His IQ level to know when to cut and how to set screens, it's already seems to be catching the eyes of a lot of vets. So I'm excited to see what Will Richardson brings to the team.
All right. Cool. Okay, so let's switch gear from the hard court to the ice. And so the Sharks made a bunch of moves. Before we start talking about specifically the games, I want to just kind of rip through some of the things that have happened off the ice. On Thursday, they claimed Vincent Iorio off waivers from Washington. They also made a trade. They at the AHL level. They sent forward Oscar Olesen to Minnesota for defenseman Kyle Masters. Their defenseman Tim Liljegren was placed on IR with an upper body injury, and they also had John Klingberg is kind of day to day with a lower body injury. And then yesterday, Shakir Mukhamadullin was placed on IR with an upper body injury. That means they called up Luca Cagnoni in his stead. So Luca's going to get to make his NHL debut at some point here pretty soon. He's up with the big club. So we love that. That's more rookies getting their shot, getting their taste at the with the big club. We love that. Okay. So now let's talk about the Sads. Okay. So on last Tuesday against Carolina, they lose 5-1. A couple of notes from this game. Michael Misa made his NHL debut in this game, and William Eklund got the goal in the second period to tie the game at 1 goal apiece, but that was kind of it. And that was as close as the Sharks got. They couldn't generate a single shot in the third period in that game. So that sucked.
Still looking for a win.
Yeah. So then we move on to Friday night at Utah. They lose 6-3. Nick Schmaltz for Utah had a hattie. The goals in that game for the Sharks were scored by Toffoli, Skinner, and Celebrini got his first goal of the year that game. So that was good. And then we switch over to Saturday night.
Still looking for a win.
This game was close. They just ran in. Jari was like really, really hot. Like that was a really hot goaltender that night. Crosby and Malkin both had an assist and a goal in that game. Malkin's goal was an empty netter. Jari just stood on his head. He had like 30 saves or something like that. That was kind of unfortunate. The Sharks are currently 0 wins, 3 losses, and 2 overtime losses for 2 points. They're 7th in the Pacific, 15th in the West, and 31st in the NHL. None of us have a win for win of the week.
I'm going first since my birthday is this week for this week.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, so the upcoming schedule, all 4 games are on the road, and 3 of them are in the greater New York metropolitan area. They're at the Islanders on Tuesday. They're at the Rangers on Thursday, and they're at the Devils on Friday, and then they're at Minnesota on Sunday. So which game would you like?
Oh boy. I'm taking the Islanders.
You're taking the Islanders? Okay, Sam, what about you?
A battle of first and second against each other in the draft.
I guess I'll go with the Islanders because they got a bunch of young people on their team too, so they could soil themselves.
So you're both taking the Islanders then? Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I guess you know what? I'm gonna put myself on an island then. But which island do I put myself on?
Well, it ain't the New Jersey Devils.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, the Devils are currently second in their division. I guess that means I could go Rangers, I guess.
Why not go Minnesota?
You know what? Minnesota, that's going to be kind of a tougher one. They're you know what? They're off to a little bit of a slower start. They're off to a little bit of a slow start.
Yeah.
They've lost 3 in a row at this point. I'm looking at it right now. You know what? No, you know what? I got a feeling I'm going with the Rangers. So you boys are taking the Islanders. I'm going to take the Rangers. Okay.
That's kind of a nice back-to-back, if you think about it, just because you ain't got to go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, well, yeah, 3 games truly in a row.
True. Yeah.
I mean, you got a game on Long Island, and then you're on Manhattan, and then you just go right across the river to New Jersey, and then you'll fly to Minnesota to the state of hockey. Obviously, that's a little bit further away, obviously, but yeah, that's fun. Yeah, so there's your hockey update. Okay. Love the sound guy on that one. Okay, so let's move across the ocean to the pitch. Let's talk about Wrexham. They take the L at Stoke City. What happened?
Yeah, it just looked like the team was playing, I don't know, in the mud, I guess is the best way to say it. I'll say it like this. Phil Parkinson came out, and he had some interesting things to say about, his team. And basically, he just said that it looked like they got frustrated with themselves, that they got down, and then just tried to play out of their means because they were down, right? So it's early in the season still, and I think things need to be changed. I think there needs to be. I mean, you put your finger on it, whatever you want. Defensively, I think that at times they could look like they could beat the best teams, and then at times look like they can't even beat the worst teams. So it's so inconsistent that I think it's hard to say what you need to fix. Is it a midfielder? Is it an attacker? I think that they're doing fine in the attacker position. I don't think I would really need to address that. Obviously, you didn't get a goal this game, but I think they're able to survive that. They've had plenty of chances multiple times throughout the season. I just think that the ball's just not getting to the net, and it will. But I do think that when you strain yourself defensively and you don't have a lot of the possession, you're kind of tiring out your defense. It's kind of like the Eagles, like we're constantly having the defense out there. So it seems like the defense is starting to get worn out and tired. So I think that I think the team just needs to probably focus more on defensively than anything else in the next window transfer. I don't know what you're going to get as far as what's available. I'll have to look into it myself and kind of see what the rumor mill is. But I think middle field defensively is their biggest key. I think at this point you're so early in the season that you don't really want to call it like a panic button, by any means. But there's definitely some kindling starting, I would say, at this point. Not necessarily any fire or anything like that. Just getting a little warm here. So, keep the pulse on what the window's gonna look like for the transfer here, and see what Wrexham can pull out of their hat here. And like we've said multiple times, I'm gonna repeat it till I'm blue in the face. You don't want to be demoted. Being middle of the pack is not the worst thing in the world. So, staying right where you're at, if you can just hold on, move maybe on to the next season and get better talent, get a better pool going on, sky's the limit, So
yeah, I'm looking at the table right now, and the next 2 matches are both championship teams. Actually, they got Oxford United on Wednesday. They're right below them in 19th. And then Middlesbrough, they're in second right now. So that one might be a little bit tougher. at Middlesbrough on Saturday. But Oxford United on Wednesday, hosting them. You hope you'd be able to take them, right? And you're on the goal differential on the season. You're only a -2 right now as well. Even though you've only got 2 wins and 4 losses. You got 4 draws as well. So you've only really lost that it's not that bad, really. Truly, it's really not. It's still early enough. 10 games into the season, there's plenty of time to turn it around. So
yeah, I think so too. I think also too, being that Hollywood Wrexham team, you're going to get the A+ out of every single team you play. Everyone, you got a target on your back, and you just got to come with that mentality yourself.
And the magic number is 21. The top 21 teams get to stay up. You're currently sitting in 18. So, you don't want to be 22, 23, or 24. So stay above 21. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Okay. So, let's just switch over to the U.S. women's national team. We have some news about a specific player. Forward Kristen Press is retiring at the end of the NWSL season. She currently plays for Angel City. She's a 2-time World Cup winner in 2015 and 2019. She has 64 international goals. That's 9th in the team history, and 43 assists, 155 games. She wrote a lovely article on The Athletic in the style of 3 thank you letters. One was to little Kristen, one was to soccer, and one was to the fans. And I didn't quietly sob to myself while reading it at all. I'll tell you that. So it was a very excellent read, and she was very, very an excellent player, and she had it took her 2 years of her career were taken away from her because of a catastrophic knee injury as well, that just a couple of surgeries that didn't quite take, I guess, for lack of a better term, but she was able to work her way back, and I think it might have been her first game back. I swear to God, it was 9 seconds in. She her first touch, she touches it, turns, fires a shot off, and scores. I swear to God, it was incredible. I can't believe I got to I was watching it, and I damn near shit myself. It was insane. I couldn't believe it. It was she still kind of has it, and she gets to walk away, and this was a year and a half ago. So she's been playing for about a year and a half since coming back. So but she's walking away kind of on her own terms. It sounds like she could still play another year if she wanted to, but she's choosing to step away at this moment, and good for her. She has her own podcast, and she has her own life. She's married to Tobin Heath, who also just recently retired. We talked about her a few weeks ago. Another one whose career was cut short due to injuries as well. So but they're doing just fine, and they've got their own side hustles that are now main hustles. So and we get to enjoy the fruits of those labors now. So we'll be well fed from all of those projects too. So it's just a hell of a career, and a lot of people really looked up to her, and hats off to a hell of a career. So that being said, rosters dropped for the upcoming games in October for the women's team. Trinity Rodman was initially named to the team, and then literally 6 hours later, she suffered a knee injury during a Washington Spirits CONCACAF Champions League match versus CF Monterrey Femenil on Wednesday. She's going to be out about 3 weeks, and then will be reevaluated. She's not been ruled out for the rest of the season. But she'll be out until the playoffs start at least. So she's not going to be playing in the window for the U.S. women's national team at least. Another announcement was Lo Labonta is going to be replacing Sam Meza on the October roster. There will not be a replacement for Trinity Rodman, though. So, but when I look at the roster, we're starting to see a little bit more coalescing there around more familiar names. There's a couple of newcomers. Kennedy Wellesley is a new defender in the group, but for the most part, we're seeing a lot of the familiar names. Yeah, so I mean that was the only real newcomer. Everybody else has at least been in camp before a couple of times at this point. So yeah, that's really it as far as newcomers go is Kennedy Wellesley, but everybody else has at least been there before and has been around the team. So that's kind of it on the women's side of that. You got the games coming up October 23rd in Pennsylvania and October 26th in Hartford. Both of those games are going to Portugal, and then October 29th in Kansas City against New Zealand. Okay. Also, USA, Mexico, Jamaica, and Costa Rica submitted a joint bid to host the 2031 Women's World Cup. There it is. I spitted it out. Okay.
Jamaica and Costa Rica. Interesting.
Yeah. So I think they'll probably like do the thing where they like host a group or something like that.
Right.
Probably. In the opening stages or something like like Kingston, Jamaica or something like that, and then Costa Rica will probably host something as well, and Mexico and USA I think they'll probably host I mean they're gonna that 2031 tournament's gonna be just as big as the 2026 tournament that USA, Canada, and Mexico are hosting, so they're gonna need a lot of stadiums to host all of those nations. So that's it makes sense to try to bring in as many quality stadiums as possible that can host those number. So and I think on a side note, 2031, you hope that there's a more friendly type government in place at that point in America. But if there isn't, having the option to have some countries that may not feel as comfortable coming to America, at least for like earlier games in the tournament, and at least makes sense to if you can put them there, then I guess that makes sense, and you cross the bridge when it comes to it if they're if they advance. So we'll worry about that 5 years down the road, 6 years down the road, but that's a whole other thing that we don't even need to worry about at this point. But yeah, so then we'll switch gears to the men. They did play one more game since the last time we talked. They get the win versus Australia 2-1. Australia got the first goal of the game in the 19th minute, but then Haji Wright came up with a brace, goals in the 33rd and 51st minute. He's only the second player to score multiple goals for the U.S. men's national team versus a non-CONCACAF team in the last 9 years. Gio Reyna versus Ghana was the other one.
Wow.
Fun fact. You'd have thought it'd be Christian Pulisic, but no, it was Gio Reyna. This is the first victory in the Pochettino era where we surrendered a goal first and then went on to win the game. 2 draws and 5 losses before that. Wow. So the next men's window is mid-November. So November 15th and 18th is the next window. So look out for that. All right. So last bit of soccer, Bay FC. I was at this game. Okay. I did get tickets. Not only did I get tickets, I got sweet tickets for this game. I was in the front row. Okay. And not only was I in the front row, I was near a corner. Okay. Not only was I near a corner, I was near a corner where Bay FC took a corner and then scored a goal on this. Tim, not only was I near a goal, where I could see it, your boy Vinny G actually was filming it when it happened. So, all right.
Nice, Tim.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Turn your heads. We don't plan ahead. Yeah, this was on the fly. This was on the fly. I sprung this on him. Yeah, so look at that. It was a sick header from Penelope Hawking. Alyssa Melanson kind of kicked it out of the corner, and it was fed right back to her, and then she kicks it in. It was sort of
That's awesome, man.
It was pretty cool, right? Yeah, so that was, yeah, with the goal. Yeah,
that's
so that was pretty
sweet,
cool.
Man.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to be there and to actually get video for that. So video courtesy Vince Gabrielson. Unfortunately, Bay FC lost this game 4-1. Manaka Matsukubo, for North Carolina Courage gets 2 goals in the first 8 minutes of the game. Pain. The tactics were not good to start the game. Needless to say, it's part of the reason why Albertine Montoya is stepping down at the end of the season. We talked about the Penelope Hawking. She got a goal off of the corner kick. We just saw it. That happened right before halftime as well. So you claw back 1 goal. You're going into halftime. You start feeling pretty good though. Okay, and then right out of halftime, somebody on Bay FC commits a handball in the box. Jordan Silkowitz then makes a brilliant save on the penalty kick, and that was like 5 minutes into the second half, 6 minutes into the second half. Kind of keeps it close. Rachel Kundananji on the other end of the field, she comes onto the pitch. She hits a post. The keeper makes a brilliant save, and then it hits off a crossbar just to, Kundananji's a little bit snake bitten. She can't buy a goal, man. It's so tough. But when the ball hit rang off of the post so loud, at that point, that's when I started thinking, you know what? I don't know if we're gonna actually finish the comeback at this point. After that, more mistakes were made. Koyama and then Matsukubo ended up getting her hat trick in the 80th minute. At that point, that's when I started telling everybody, you know what? I don't think we're actually going to win this game, y'all. So at that point, the game was sealed. So it's been 135 days since Bay FC last won a game at this point.
Wow.
136 maybe. I'll have to double check the map on that. But some good news. Taylor Huff, Carly Lima, and Leah Freeman, all youngsters, have been called into the under-23 camp for the U.S. women's national team. Nice. Rachel Kundananji is called into the Zambia national team for the 2026 women's AFCON, the WAFCON qualifiers. And then Sydney Collins was called into Canada national team for their October friendlies. So even though as a team they haven't quite got it sorted out, there are some individuals getting some stick taps from the national team at the national level. So, the final game is going to be November 1st because of this international window. The last game of the season gets to wait a couple of weeks. So they're going to be playing at Racing Louisville on Saturday, November 1st at 2 p.m. That'll be the final match of the season. And there you go. Right now, that's the end of soccer. We have just a couple of quick notes on baseball.
Yeah, man. Dodgers punched their ticket to the World Series on what I would argue is probably one of the best single performances of a baseball player ever. Shohei Ohtani, who pitched, had 10 Ks, had 3 home runs in the same game, hit a ball 469 feet.
Nice.
When you have your own teammates putting their hands on their head in disbelief of what they just saw, I think it's a pretty good effort of that's a generational player. And I know we're a little scorned for our own personal reasons, but if you get the opportunity to watch Shohei Ohtani, which we've had the pleasure to do, unfortunately with an Angels uniform, but nonetheless, you should go see it. It's definitely a treat, and it's something to behold. And again, the last time somebody's ever done something like this was Babe Ruth. Last time I checked, our parents weren't alive for that. Our grandparents depending on their ages,
No,
may not have been alive for
you
that.
have to go back to great grandparents, and they were like,
you're seeing things that it's unfathomable, and I would argue, well, I'm even arguing this fact, he's better than Babe Ruth. That is a factual thing at this point in juncture of his young career. I say young because he's got another 10 years to go on this contract. So
he can't drink beer like Babe Ruth, though.
Those 12-ounce curls, man. Those 12-ounce curls, baby.
Yeah.
I want to see him do it drunk like Babe Ruth.
Oh, man. The ALCS is going to Game 7, which I'm watching right now. It's actually been kind of fun. I'm rooting for the Mariners.
Yeah, Seattle's up 2-1 right now in the fourth, although Toronto just got somebody on base right now.
It's 2 outs, but I will tell you right now, I think Vladimir Guerrero just did the worst thing he could possibly do. He showed up today in a Toronto Maple Leafs jersey.
Oof.
I don't know what kind of curses you wanted to give yourself, but wearing the Maple Leaf jersey was probably not the one you should have worn, in my humble opinion. I get it. You're in Toronto. They're Toronto. But there's a reason why the Maple Leafs are cursed when it comes to the playoffs. So, I don't know. Maybe it works out for you. Maybe it doesn't. But I'm also enjoying it because we went to spring training for the Padres, and the Mariners and the Padres share the same spring training stadium. So we had gotten some shirt merch and couldn't decide between getting the spring training Padres or the Mariners one because the Mariners one looked pretty cool. So we ended up buying both of them. And so by a quasi kind of relationship here, me and my wife have been rooting for the Mariners. One, because I want to see them make it to the World Series. They've never done it. They're the only team left in MLB that's never been to the World Series. So I would love to see that. I think it'd be fun. She's wearing the T-shirt. You know, it seems a little bit of rooting since baseball's a little dead in the household, but it's always nice to root for the underdog story, in my opinion.
Dodgers are going to sweep whoever.
I agree.
Actually,
I just want to see them get to the World Series.
Actually, I have a stat for you. In this situation where the team that swept their way into the World Series and then had to wait for the other team, and then that series went 7. The team that went 7, the last I believe it's the last 4 times that's happened. Actually, it's only happened 4 times actually. The team that went 7 won every time.
I think it's going to be a tough ask. The only reason why I said it is because while yes, the Mariners were the number 1 seed, they still had to go 5 games, play that game until like 2 a.m. Fly their asses to Toronto.
No, I'm not saying it's going to be easy.
It's going to be a hard ass.
I'm just saying history is on the side of the winner of the ALCS. That's
fair.
all I'm saying.
That's fair. I was saying that the Mariners
all
were
I'm
gonna
saying.
win. The Mariners are up, but you know what? The game has not said 3 outs in the bottom of the 9th, winner of the Mariners yet. So can't say that they've won yet, but I'm excited for it nonetheless. Let's go Mariners to get to their first World Series ever.
Be nice.
Go Shohei.
Well, hey guys, right. I think on that note, you just want to say thank you guys for listening to the SVT podcast. Subscribe on YouTube and hit the bell to get alerts when we go live. Also, if you don't have time to listen to full episodes on Mondays, we are putting out several segments throughout the week on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and Threads at SVT Sports Pod. Slide into DMs if you have any suggestions, any sports that you would like to hear talked about. Let us know. We would love to interact with all of you beautiful people.
FJF!
FJF.